There are legitimate fears about this process, which I addressed in this conversation. We've had these conversations for how many years about this as a process on this show. But really, it comes down to one fear. See, what an Article 5 Convention of States ultimately shows is whether we are fake news or not. People email, so what's the plan if we have you? You are the plan. Folks, they didn't have a constitution drawn up before they got to the convention. They didn't even know what they were going to do. They tried other things, Articles of Confederation and other such things that were miserable failures. You're the plan. I'm the plan. People that know what is right and wrong and will act accordingly. That is the plan. The plan starts with that. And then, see, plans don't make people understand what is right and wrong and do accordingly. People knowing what is right and wrong and doing accordingly is what determines the plan. We're the plan. We are it. I had a woman, and God bless her, Barbara, just sent me a note about Phyllis Schlafly's concerns about this. And the article, the late, great Phyllis Schlafly's concerns about an Article 5 convention. And she gives me a link from April of 1995. Phyllis, by the way, I knew well. I knew Phyllis well. I'd been on her show several times. She'd been on this show before you guys came to work here several times. She was an early promoter of my work. I loved her. I loved her to death. When they did that hatchet job on Hulu over her a couple of years ago, we had her daughter on the show, as I recall, to defend her legacy. But Phyllis died on September 5th, 2016. On September 5th, 2016, and man, that's not that long ago, is it?
No.
Would you have conceived of a time that your children would be told that unless they choked themselves out, they could not go to a school? And that's if we, on September 5th, 2016, did you think that the conservatives would be the ones fighting to reopen the government schools? I didn't. I mean, doesn't that, and whether Colin Kaepernick put cops are pigs on his cleats or not, wow, isn't that just such a, September of 2016, doesn't that just seem like a simpler time?
Mm-hmm.
This thing's gone to hell since September of 2016. Let alone what she thought in 1995. In 2016, I was hesitant about this. You know why I was hesitant about this? Because I was hesitant about us. That we wouldn't allow ourselves to get outflanked. That it would, you know how it would become a runaway event? If we permit it to.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. The Convention of States as a process calls the question. Who are we really?
What are you prepared to do?
That's right. What are we prepared to do? Yes. But now we're at a juncture here where we have no alternative. One of the positive lessons Dave taught me in between meetings is why there was so much bravery at the Alamo. Because there wasn't a back door. A lot of times we fail in life when we go into a situation contemplating what happens if we fail. You guys have worked very closely with me now for what? Going on 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
How often do I have conversations framed around what if we lose? What if it doesn't work? What if we fail? It's extremely rare.
Oh, and I don't ever recall having a conversation when that was the main premise. When he comes up, it's a secondary premise to whatever we're talking about.
My great fear is, what if I missed a big win?
Yeah.
That's my fear. You want to know why I lost 100 pounds and then the previous times I tried it, I didn't? Because I went in there thinking that failure was an option. The one time that I didn't, the one time I went in there thinking, you know what? I'm just blanking sick of living like this. Failure's not an option. That's it. Do or do not. There is no try. Get her done. Amazingly, That's the one time I lost 100 pounds, was doing it that way. See where I'm going with this?
Mm-hmm.
Failure is not an option. We have been infiltrated on every side. Are you guys watching the antics of the Loudoun County School Board in Virginia? They're just carrying on with exactly what they got spanked for last year that probably won Glenn Youngkin the governor's office. We don't have a generation or two to undo this damage and systematically do our own return march through the institutions to drive people out. We do not. If you think we do, then you and I just have completely different reads on the moment we're in. Because we're in the end game. That's my read. Now, I could be wrong about that. I'd like to be, by the way. But I'm pretty confident I'm not. We are not a silent majority any longer. We're a completely outflanked plurality at best. We need a D-Day. We need a moment where we can reverse one mass cultural war version of an invasion to turn the tide. That's what we need. We cannot win this. We're too outflanked. We cannot do this piecemeal for 20 or 30 years. We're toast. We need one major offensive that would turn the tide. So to me, we have two options. The only option within the constitutional system I see is this one. It's the only radical option I see that provides the potential for that moment. We're not voting our way out of this, and we're not going to piecemeal our way out of this.
I'm here live in Philadelphia at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. When you hear the phrase lives, fortunes, and sacred honor, these are the folks we should think of, those who anonymously gave their lives. Well, today you have a chance to volunteer. You need to volunteer for conventionofstates.com, the movement that's going to save the country. These folks are willing to step up and give everything. We need you to give just a little bit. Go to conventionofstates.com and volunteer today.